Good morning. Oh, it's lovely to see. I've got a little bit of sun poking through behind me. Yeah, I wanted to share this morning. So I always like to look at self-development as well as reflection, and in January I did it's the first time I've ever done it. I chose to do some reflection, looking at what I've achieved last year, but also focusing on what I want to do this year, but in a kind and loving way. I realised we're always learning about ourselves, but I've always been goal orientated. So focus on the goal, focus on getting there. And then when I reach the goal, I sometimes feel a bit disappointed. I don't know, it's really weird. It's like, I've achieved that, and what's next? It's like this perpetual motion of continuing. And don't get me wrong, goal setting is fantastic because it gives us an aim. It gives us a focus. We can have action steps that get us to where we feel we want to go. So it's brilliant when you use it in the right context. And I didn't realise that I'd been focusing on the goal so much that I was missing what I call the journey, the part of enjoyment getting to that place. And I've always done this with weight, like most of us over Christmas, we tend to maybe consume a little bit more than what we would normally. And, I'm always focusing on different areas, but I found that I would race to get to my goal weight, reach it, and then self-sabotage. And I did that for a long time. And I've been looking at those areas of self-sabotage. Why do we get to something that we want to get, that we feel will make us happy? And then for me, I realised that actually so I'm just going to use diet. Diet, for example. In the past, I think there is not one diet that I haven't tried. Those who know me know I've tried in the past diet pills and controlling it with weight, and then I did go through a really bad phase of body dysmorphia a few years ago. And it was like I was so fixated on every extra weight that I was carrying, kept looking at myself in the mirror, kept focusing on those areas, and I thought, oh God, I hate it, I don't like it, not celebrating the fact that, for example, my stretch marks maybe helped me to produce two beautiful children. So one of the starting points that I did was to focus on what I felt I didn't like. I mean, I use tapping now, as you know, so that really helps me to take down any emotional charge related to it. And I also looked at when was the first time I felt this dissatisfaction in my body. And I was able to then look at where it started and then kind of tap myself down. And I had a moment of clarity. And this clarity, I get them on a daily basis. They're like light bulbs. They keep popping in my brain. And I've always been focusing on reaching that end point. Oh, when I lose a stone, I'll be happy. Well, actually, when you place all of that emotional, for me, when I place all of that emotional expectation on that weight, of course, when I get to that point, I'm like, I've done it now. I know what. I'll reward myself with the chocolate, the cakes, and all of this. And it kind of goes in this perpetual cycle. And then I used to use the same thing. Well, you only live once. So, treat yourself. You don't want to go without anything. And I suddenly realised it doesn't mean that you don't have to go without anything, that you can have a variety of foods and enjoy what you eat. But I was so almost like rewarding those foods that didn't really help me, and looking at that as almost like a positive. Now I can eat a bit more. So what I'm trying to do, and I'm so pleased because I've learned, and it's really hard to do this by yourself. I suppose that's why my wonderful EFT practitioner, and you need an EFT practitioner around the weight especially, because it's not just cutting down food. It's not just changing the diet. It's the emotion that's behind that aspect of food that kind of triggers you, which keeps us in this cycle, and it goes round and round. And we all know, because it's interesting, isn't it? It's like we all know what to do to reach our goals, especially if you're looking at, and I'm saying today is the focus on weight, because I always say part of mine is to share my journey, if I can give a little bit of inspiration and hope. But if we don't tackle that underlying emotion that's behind it, then you don't get that realization. So now what I'm doing is I'm actually focusing on the journey. Now that's not to say I can't use different diet aids to support me. And I often say, if someone wants to choose a diet that works for them, do you know what? If it works for you, that's great, whether or not it be Juice Plus to Cambridge to whatever diet that you want. But if you don't address the underlying issue, it's almost like you kind of sabotage yourself when you get to that point. And that's what I do. Well, actually, I'm going to refrain that. That's what I used to do before I had more awareness. But as I say, we evolve all the time, and all of a sudden you hit an age where, when I was younger, I could eat what I wanted, and I could lose it really quick, and it wasn't an issue, and I didn't really focus on it. Then as I was getting older, all of a sudden, those few pounds that, Mr. Chips is having a little run around. I might even do another lap of the field. This is other thing, getting up that bit early, and I did a video before, making those small changes and enjoying the journey is what I'm doing right now. So whether or not I had a dog or I didn't have a dog, actually get up that little bit earlier, do a couple of laps, this lovely field. It's one part that will support my well-being. And it's so funny, I have to share this. So even though I only teach one class a week now, I actually don't like exercise. I love dancing, but I don't really like exercise. And I look at people and they're so infused with it, and it's great. And I suddenly found the reason is because I never found the exercise that I liked, which is why I did my little dance challenge, because I enjoyed that. And now I love walking. I love just being out in the fresh air and actually allowing myself, this time, Monday morning, to actually do that. Just means I've got to get up a bit earlier, get a little bit more prepared. But because I'm not hitting that snooze button, I don't feel on the back foot all the time. Anyway, I digress, as I like to do. So, going back to the diet, if anyone feels like I do about that self-sabotage and it's hard to lose the weight, rather than writing a goal-focused plan, I want to encourage you to do what I call a journey plan. Celebrate those small wins. And when we say small wins, they can literally be, today I made the choice not to grab that chocolate bar. Or if I do have that chocolate bar, the other thing is, if you make time and allocate in your mind that you're going to allow yourself to have something which we call naughty, do it mindfully and really enjoy it, and kind of work that into your diet. Because if one of the things that I used to do, and I have to balance it because I have this other problem with eating, that I tend to eat in the middle of the night. And I'm going to do a little bit more work on that. It's really weird. I can wake up in the middle of the night and I'm really hungry, so I'm eating more. So what I've done is, rather than focusing now on getting to what my target weight is, I'm like, yesterday, for example, I knew I was going out, a lovely family meal, and had a wonderful time. And I've made allowance, you know what, I'm going to have what I like on that, what I really enjoy. So I had a meal that might not be, wasn't particularly less calories because, I chose to have that. But then what I did, which is the difference, which is one of the things, instead of going in and going, I'm a bit hungry later, I'll just have a packet of crisps or I'll just have that, I just thought, okay. And I don't mind some fruit, but I'd much rather have a sausage roll. But I thought, actually, if I ate that sausage roll, how would I feel? How would it make me feel? What am I feeling in the body? Am I feeling disappointed? No, you've done it again. So making those small changes and celebrating actually that I had a lovely meal with my family and actually accept that, and then today start again with just making a couple of different choices, but not to focus on the end goal. What can I do today? What can I do today that will make me feel happy, that I'll feel maybe was a little bit more of a healthier choice? And when I tune into it, because of that, I wake up today on a Monday, where normally over the weekend, I would have indulged. I do like a glass of Prosecco, and I do like to have those things. And I thought, well, over this weekend, I know I'm going to have that, but how can I do it in a way that's not going to cause self-sabotage? And today, I've woke up again in a totally different mindset, realising that what can I do today to support my well-being? And as I say, today I really felt the focus was on my diet, and there's so many different things out there, it's really hard to make the right decision. So we can get very confused. Oh, I'll try that, because we want the quick wins. And when we focus on a quick win to get to the goal, what we're saying to ourselves is we're not enjoying the journey. It's almost like a punishment to ourselves. So just encourage you to maybe have a little bit of a look around the emotion and look at those times when you've got to where you thought would make you happy, and you feel great and your clothes will fit and however that makes you feel. Tune in to how you felt. Imagine taking yourself right back to that place and then go, okay, what made me self-sabotage? The classic one as well is that, I know I've done it, you reach your goal and that goal changed. Oh, I could lose another half a stone. Oh, I'll lose that. And then all of a sudden your diet intake becomes less and less and less. And at the end of the day, we want to embrace food and enjoy it. And when you accept that it's okay to indulge in those foods, if we just take a little bit of time and awareness to understand that emotion that's related to that eating, related to that intake, it makes it such a better journey. So rather than focusing on my end goal, today I am choosing to get up early and just take that little bit of an extra walk. And just for today, I decided to put just some fruit in my porridge. Frozen fruit, easy, pop it there, just pop it in I just love it, it's simple. And then have a lighter lunch. So whatever diet you're doing, I suppose what I want to say is, in life we have ups and downs, and we can have good times, bad times, but when we put all of that pressure, when we put all of that demands on ourselves, just give yourself permission to really love you and accept every inch of you. And from that place, from a loving place, and understanding that you're perfect just the way you are and just the way you're not, it makes the journey of whatever, and you can apply this to anything, whether or not it be exercise, diet, drinking, smoking. Because I used to go, oh God, I can't believe I've eaten that, I shouldn't have eaten it, and then I go in that. Whereas now, if I choose to have something, for one thing, try and sit down and eat it. I never did, and it's really hard as a therapist, you're always on the go. So sit down, eat it. And if you do eat something that you consider that's not right, take time to enjoy that. Eat it if you can slowly. It is hard with chocolate, but also to allow yourself that that's okay, because you'll find then that the craving and the guilt and everything that comes with that, eating those wrong things, will start to dissipate. But it is really important, as I said through this video, to identify what the emotional trigger is. One that maybe keeps you stuck in this cycle. And the easiest way to do that is tune in. Not how are you feeling, but what are you feeling in your body? What emotion is attached to that? And Linda has an amazing emotional scale. And if anyone is interested in that, I'm sure Linda wouldn't mind sharing it, and you'll have seen the emotional scale in a few videos, because it's so important to find out whether or not you're in resistance or acceptance. So for now, because I've got to get to work, lots of love. And you know, in this time, I can't believe it, it's been 16 minutes on my phone. Oh my goodness, 16 minutes. So by the time it took me to walk here, that's fine. Already, I've done 2 laps around the field, and I don't have to run around that field. I can just walk. Doesn't matter what kind of exercise that you start off with, because it's always those small changes that make the difference. Anyway, much kindness. I think Chip, are you ready to go? I think he's ready to go home now. Take care. Bye.